Hi everyone, and welcome to Project 31 for 2023, where I watch 31 horror movies in 31 days of October, and I give you my review for each and every single one of them. Today, October 3rd, I will review the movie The Evil Dead. The Evil Dead is an iconic horror film by director Sam Raimi that started a franchise of movies and a TV show and a longtime collaboration with actor Bruce Campbell that spanned beyond just this particular franchise. The movie was made in 1981 on a shoestring budget, and it was a big hit. The story of the movie is rather simple. A bunch of young adults are going up to a remote mountain cabin in Tennessee for a supposed weekend getaway. While there, they discover that the owners of the place had a weird book, and they're exploring reading from it. The owners even left a tape detailing their investigation. While listening to the tape, the group invoke a bunch of demons associated with that book, and they get picked off one by one until there's just one guy remaining.
You bastards! Why are you torturing me like this? Why?
This film is a classic, and this is precisely why I chose it. It belongs more to the supernatural side of the horror film, but also incorporates a lot of gore. It is sort of a cross between a zombie film such as Dawn of the Dead and a typical slasher film. It contains a lot of the tropes from both types of films. The slasher tropes are about that last girl of the film gets turned on its head because Ash, played by Bruce Campbell, is the last man standing. But not only that, you get these silly, fake jump scares, and you know that old saying, "I'll be right back," and the guy never returns? Well, in this case, that also gets a nice little role reversal.
Back in a minute.
The more demonic, fantastic, zombie side of the movie has the demons constantly chasing our heroes, turning them into demons or zombies, and getting them to turn on their friends. In this case, of course, we're talking about demons coming back from the dead, but essentially they're replacing those zombie elements of the movie. Because these are demons instead of zombies coming back from the dead, there are elements like in The Exorcist where they're trying to fool our characters, fool our heroes into converting. Now, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm not big into horror films, and I've not watched this particular movie for a very long while. The Evil Dead franchise, though, is a notoriously popular with horror fans that mostly love the second version of this movie, Evil Dead 2, but we'll talk about that movie later in the month. I think this movie has a lot going for it. It's a very simple story setup, which is good. In the car ride to the cabin itself, you understand immediately who the characters are and how they actually behave when it's not so stressful. You understand the setting of the place that they're going into, and you understand their environment. The score of the film reminded me of a Carpenter-esque film, and it really affected my own personal stress level when I was watching it. Although I have to say, the jump scares that this movie had were, let's say, it didn't really affect me. Maybe because I watched it more than once. But if I was a complete novice, came to this movie, didn't know anything about it, and was looking for a good jump scare, I got those. Ted Sullivan, who was the makeup artist and the sort of style designer, did a great job with the demonic makeup. And not only that, all the gory bits of the movie. They were very visceral and straight up in your face. It was so disturbing, this movie actually was banned in 3 countries: Finland, Singapore, and the Ukraine. But if we are talking about great makeup for a movie, I want to touch about the quiet moments, the non-gory moments. The moments of the movie where there's semblance of things just starting to go bad, and the makeup work reflects that exact subtle thing. And it's again the art of showing you and not telling you. And I'm referring to a specific scene where Ash's sister sort of gets possessed, but not really. And when you look at her hand, it's starting to go gray, but it's never mentioned verbally. Oh, look, your hand is going gray. Oh my God, my hand is going gray. Bruce Campbell was far and away the best actor of the five. You can sense his fear when he's afraid, and you can sense his calm demeanor before everything goes to hell. And finally, I'll end this review with much respect to Raimi. A lot of unusual camera work in this movie. It is very subtle. He's using a small little space and maximizing it with every single shot, putting it in a corner or just moving it in a very unique way to get a very unique look for his movie. It might look basic for you and me today, but in 1981, it was very cutting edge, and especially very cutting edge for the amount of budget that was used and the type of film that it was used on. I highly recommend that if you never watched the Evil Dead franchise, you start with this one. It's very basic, it's very simple, but it's scary and it's very Raimi. Thank you for watching. If you happen to watch this movie not on the Halloween season, please check out my other movie reviews or our Saturday show, The Real McCoy Podcast, where we dive deeper into lots of great movies.